control. I'm not losing control. Everything's going as planned. It's not getting shows aren't getting away from. What are you two doing here?
We just like to hang out in boiler rooms. What are you doing here?
We don't ask to do anything.
We just do things.
I'm having an existential crisis because of you two.
Yeah, but this is where we hang out.
Quit making us.
You have to have your existential crisis somewhere else. Yeah.
For the love of God.
Yeah, this is where this SNS hangout.
Okay, well, again, one more time, and we're done. You can be done with them, but if you lose, then you can be done with each other.
I don't think we have to worry about losing. Yeah, I don't think we're going to lose.
Okay, well, I'm going to go, but I do need to talk to you.
On one condition. We do it at Applebee's, and you pay for a 2 for $25.
We will do it at Applebee's, and I will buy 1 round of drinks.
Yes! That'll work.
Yeah.
Spooky Lou Carbon Barker. Oh my goodness. Are you ready for some VCW? We got Commissioner West in front of us. How are we doing, my good man?
Oh, we're doing great today, Spooky Lou. Thanks for having me on to talk a little wrestling. It's one of my favorite things to do.
Same here. I think we just became best friends. I love the shirt.
You know that I have that fond feeling for one Marcus Twist. He gets on my nerves 90% of the time, but 10% of the time, he's one of my favorite people in the world. So,
I'm a big fan of VCW, big fan of you, but we both got this thing for Marcus Twist. He's going to have to pick one day. You're fighting for his affection. I am too. Before we get too heated and too crazy, just may the best man win, you know?
100%. Yeah, and I mean, DD Vice isn't too bad of a second place trophy.
Exactly. May the worst man win DD Vice.
Yeah, and I'll stay up for hours talking music with DD Vice anyways, so.
Yeah. Some folks call him DD Nice.
I don't know about that. My wife calls him DD Nice sometimes.
Well, there you go. I've got a friend in New York calls him DD Nice. I don't know. It's to each their own. To each their own. I love the shirt. It's crazy because I'm rocking the shirt too. I swear to God. So
my favorite. We'll just jump into my favorite DD Vice story. Is that we were on Facebook one time going back and forth on a post for VCW, and he's going off on the fans, and my wife writes something, and I just instantly know he's going to come back and he's going to get smart. So I just jump in real quick, send him a message. It's like, by the way, that's my wife. And he goes, I just looked her up and I made sure to stop whatever I was going to say.
Deep down, he's a good man, despite what you see on TV from these two.
Yeah.
If you take time to get to know them and try to understand them. There's no understanding them. They're good dudes. I saw a recent promo in a boiler room. We're getting ready for a big match at VCW. What's going on there while we're on the subject?
So, since their debut, Mount Kilpis and Saturday Night Special have just been at each other's throat.
Oh.
They haven't stopped. I mean, we saw the possum get beheaded. We saw the 6-man where the roof fell in.
My favorite match, one of my favorite matches last year.
That was sitting there and watching in the back, watching the roof fall in, and just trying, just like, please nobody drink the water. Please nobody drink the water. And there's Kilpis and Beastman trying to drink the water. My health insurance doesn't cover that. And then at the last show, they just no match, battled all over the arena.
Oh my God.
I'm already turning gray. They're making me grayer. So it's going to be last team standing. Losing team has to break up forever in VCW. So this feud ends one way or the other.
I appreciate where you're coming from. I do.
Yeah.
But I'm not a big fan of the step. And here in RSW, that shit kind of went south for us. So I have all
Well,
the faith in my boys, but come on
I
now.
understand. Whoa, my
See what
computer just stopped.
happens?
I'm using 6 Marvel Legend boxes as a stand for my laptop, and it just fell. But no, we can say I'm tired of it. I'm tired of having to deal with both of them, trying to make sure, nobody gets hurt if they're going to brawl through the entire arena.
Yeah,
So you saw me in the beginning of that promo. I was having my own existential crisis that things weren't going right for me. And
understandable.
I don't want, I just want to be done with it. So it doesn't matter to me who wins, and it doesn't matter to me who loses. We'll move forward from it one way or the other. Do I have a preference? I do. But
Obviously.
I'll keep that to myself. It
Well,
might not be who you think.
I mean, I see you talking to them. Have you talked to Mount Kilpus?
I've talked to Gannon Green on the phone.
Okay.
I'll see Paulie when he shows up.
No
I
phone
don't
for
I
Paulie.
don't head up on the mountain too often.
No.
So there Mount Kilpus is a little far for me to travel, so I'll stay here in Wheeling. But I've talked to Gannon. They're ready for this. They've accepted the challenge. So I mean, February 19th, 1-year anniversary. There's our main event.
That's a huge one. I'm so excited for that. I'm sure the whole card, the last show was amazing. Every show is amazing.
Oh, yeah.
Listen,
Last show was probably one of my favorite shows we've done all year.
yeah,
Outside of War Games.
and the one before it, what a success on Fight. I was there live. The crowd live was amazing. You guys are killing it, and I'm not
Yeah.
just saying that because I've been there. I've watched it since day one on IndieWrestling.us. The production's on point. I've had the pleasure of being backstage. It's a tight run ship. We got Beastman coming up next episode. I'm all for VCW. God bless you guys.
We appreciate it. We appreciate all the fans backing us in our first year. I'm not going to say I'm surprised at the success because of the product we put out, of the people that we have on our team.
Mm-hmm.
The video quality with Sorg is top notch.
Mm-hmm.
The wrestlers are some of the best in the tri-state area.
Mm-hmm.
I'll put some of them up against anybody in the United States. I'll put Damian Chambers up against anybody.
For sure.
And nobody works harder than Beastman, from putting on the shows to promoting to papering the town to training the new guys to writing everything.
Yeah.
Nobody works harder than Beastman, and I am just proud to be a part of this, and I'm just happy that he asked me to be a part of this.
For sure. For sure. Like I say, it's magic every time. You can feel it in the crowd. The crowd eats it up. I've been eating it up. You can watch it on pay-per-view live as it happens. It don't get no better. The roster, hey, I'll put Nathan Aldridge. I'll pimp that guy all day. I'll put him up against anybody in the world.
You love Nathan, man. I've known Nathan since he started wrestling in Black Diamond Wrestling, probably 2014, 2015.
Okay.
So I've known Nathan for about 7 years.
Mm-hmm.
And his talent is unbelievable. Nothing works harder than his mouth.
Yes.
I can listen to him talk all day long.
Mm-hmm.
In the back, on the phone, hanging out at the bar. That boy can talk, but you put a microphone in his hand in front of a live crowd.
Oh boy.
10 minutes, they're all gonna hate him.
Yeah.
And it's amazing.
And he hates them. Just coming
No.
out, he automatically hates you, whoever you are.
He does. I was at a show once. It was a concept show. They were doing kind of like, it was held at the casino, and they were doing it was almost like American Idol, where there were 3 judges watching people wrestle.
Oh, I'm aware of this. Was Cornette there?
Cornette, yeah, Robert Fuller, and Baby Doll
Yeah.
were the judges. And they would pull someone up from the fans. And Aldridge was there.
Oh, shit.
And Nathan had a shitty opponent that just wasn't good for Nathan. But Nathan was on point, yelling at him, mouthing at him. And Cornette loved him.
I'm sure.
I mean, he was trained in Memphis. He's from Memphis. He's that Southern style that Cornette likes. But Cornette loved him. It was amazing. It was just fun to watch.
Oh, I'd love to see that footage. I sure would. Speaking of country boys, Cowpoke Paul is a phenomenon, and I'm sure you know.
The Cowpoke Paul is probably my newcomer of the year from 2022.
Yep,
He
agreed.
came out of nowhere, and I saw him the first time I saw him. I was like, "What is this?" Like, I saw his picture online. I'm like, "I don't get it. It's a cowboy.
Hmm.
It's 2022, almost 2023. Why are we running with cowboys?" And then I saw him wrestle, and I was like, "Oh, this kid's got it."
Hmm.
And starting off as watching the fans just fall in love with him.
Hmm.
And the moment they see him, the line he has at the merch table, him selling those cowbells,
Hmm.
it's amazing. And I'm watching the stuff he's doing in Pittsburgh right now with MV on
Oh my
those
goodness.
shows.
Uh-huh.
Oh, the matches he's having there are great.
I just
I don't,
watched a crazy good match from Rise. It's on the new Spotlight Slam bull
yeah,
rope match he had
yep,
with the great Alexander. Holy crap. What a
yeah, that match
match.
was great. That match was really good. Like, it's funny to see him work a bull rope. Everybody does it differently, and to see how they did it, it was for the two of them. It worked out very well.
Yeah, for real. And you guys have so much young talent. I love the Rab Boys. I'll put them over all day. Who's really caught my eye that I got to give you props for bringing in and giving a chance? Colton Quinn, man.
Yeah, Quinn's been good. Watching him do pre-show matches and working his way up to the main card. That match with Jake Ely, old Thunderbird, was great.
Oh, Jake
Um,
Healy.
that's another one. I love Jake Ely. I
Yep.
think his presence of just this little shit heel,
Hmm.
and he's just the biggest. He just acts like he's the biggest guy in the room. I love just the way he handles himself. I'm also that's the thing about working with Victory Championship Wrestling is I got to see a lot of new talent that I never heard of. Like, again, Damian Chambers, the Guiding Light Matthew Taylor.
Oh my goodness.
Going back when they told me, like, this is what he does, this is how it is, and I'm like, okay, I don't know anything about this guy, so I'm gonna just go find him on the internet and start watching some of his matches, watching his promos. I love a good cult gimmick. That's
Right.
my favorite. It's probably my favorite gimmick in wrestling is the Bray Wyatt, this
Hmm.
going back to any sort of like religion, the House of Black in AEW.
The
Like
Billy
that,
Knox and the murder.
it's
Got to
not
throw that out there.
in real shoot.
Hmm.
I've only seen Billy wrestle 3 times. I've been around him twice in VCW and once when I was ring announcing down at Real Shoot
Hmm.
months ago. But that whole gimmick of the followers and all that, forcing people to join you, people randomly joining you, it's just watching the fans, like when I was down in Mahong and watching the fans, the way they reacted when Billy came out was just,
Yeah.
it was like I was in awe of just seeing how everything was done down there.
Yeah, thank you. And I want to get into that in a little bit. But while we're talking about Billy Knox, Matthew Taylor, these are two cults that are too close. He's mainly in Ohio, but there's not enough distance between these two.
No.
It's got to happen sooner than later.
I think at some point in time it'll happen, be it VCW, Real Shoot, somewhere it's going to happen. Or these two are going to match off, and I think it's going to be some magic.
Yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait. Well, let's go into your
Yeah.
Krampus Mania trip. What did you think about your experience, the RSW experience at that?
It was great. When Tim asked me to come down, I was just jumped at the chance. I've been wanting to come down for a while. I really started following Real Shoot back during the pandemic when they were the end of the pandemic when they were running their shows
Hmm.
with no crowds or very little crowd.
Hmm.
So that's when I first started watching them because I saw a lot of my friends were wrestling down there. Like Remy LeVay, Keith Hott, Sean Phoenix, people that I know were wrestling down there all the time. The Good Guys.
Oh boy, don't get me
They
started.
got
on it.
me, they were a big part of my wrestling career for 2 years. Was working with the Good Guy, or maybe 1 year working against the Good Guys.
Mhm.
In the tag team I was managing at the time. But just it came on, and so I was always wanted to be a part of it. And when Tim came up and was working with us at VCW, I was like, I told him, I was like, hey, if you ever need anything, just let me know. I'll come down in a heartbeat to help. And he asked me to come down and ring announce. So I was like, okay, yeah, I can do that.
Mhm.
So I came down, brought my buddy with me, who's a big wrestling fan, and we just had a blast all the time. The show was great. I saw a lot of talent that I'd never seen before. Brother
Duzan?
Brother Duzan
Mhm.
was amazing. Jake Paul was great.
Oh yeah.
Seeing my guy, Remy, the Unappreciated. They were this first time I saw them. They were
Well, that was the night to see him, by God.
yeah. With Zeke joining the group, yeah, bastard Zeke Mercer.
Oh man, yeah. And Zeke's killing it up your way too.
He
So
is. He is. I think I've known Zeke since he started wrestling. When he would show up at Black Diamond Wrestling, uh, and then watching him grow from then, when I always called him my baby boy, Zeke Mercer. Um, and then watching him just grow up and come into his own, like that War Games match, him in that War Games match was probably one of my favorite thing I've seen him do.
yeah, that War Games match, people need to see it. I'm not sure if it's on. It probably is on one of
And
the
it's
spotlights.
it's on IndieWrestling.us.
Okay, I watched it as soon as it came out. That was a fun one, definitely.
Yeah, just being a part of it, just because I've had the pleasure of being in one War Games match in my career. It's the only match I've ever had in my wrestling career.
Oh wow.
Being
Okay.
a part of a War Games match. So, and War Games has always been my favorite pay-per-view to watch. Like the style match I've watched, I mean, from the 80s, watching the original War Games that they ran in WCW in the 80s all the way up through the NXT War Games.
Mm-hmm.
It's always been my favorite. So, I mean, the chance to be a part of one was awesome. And then watching it happen in Victory Championship Wrestling was great too, with the Deplorables versus the Super Friends, is what we basically called them in the back. Beastman Palace, Zeke, and Damian Chambers taking the place of Paulie Kilpis.
Wow. It was magic. It was. I can imagine being there live. I wish I would have been there live, but it came through the television. I highly encourage anybody listening.
Yeah.
Check it out, man. It's worth the $5 subscription to
Oh, yeah.
IndieWrestling.us on its
100%.
own. Yeah, if you watch it, you should go ahead and the next 3 months, because you kind of owe them at that point. The way I look at it,
Basically.
You keep throwing Black Diamond Wrestling out there, and I keep hearing so much about it. I'm very curious. Tell me about your experience with Black Diamond Wrestling while we're at it.
All right. So I started out as a fan, just going around 2013, 2014. We started going to Black Diamond. It was held at a bar in Wheeling on like the third floor.
Oh, wow.
We mainly went for the $1 PBR, $1 Busch Lights. Like, we were all wrestling fans, but we never saw local wrestling. But we had a lot of friends that wrestled there. My buddies were friends with Ty Cross, Edric Everhart, Jack Pollock, Jay Flash, Iceman, Tony Johnson. We ran in the same groups. Mm-hmm. So we would go watch them once a month, every Sunday night in Wheeling, and got to see a lot of good wrestling there. And then my wife's best friend was the ring announcer and commissioner there.
Okay.
And so it came to, after about a year and a half, 2 years of us watching there, they asked, he stepped aside. He went into managing full time. He didn't want to be doing a commissioner role and a manager role. And he's like, I'm not going to ring announce anymore. So he asked me if I would want to do it, because he just knew, like, we were friends. We've known each other for years. So he's like, hey, you love wrestling? He's like, why don't you come try out? So I always laugh. My first show was in Toronto, Ohio, ring announcing in a bar. There were maybe 25 people there in the middle of the day. And I kept moving back and forth. So like Ty Cross was calling me Happy Feet. But I got a lot of my first time there. So it was like between matches, Marcus Mann, Ty Cross, and Edric Everhart pretty much just took me aside. It's like, this is what you're doing. This is what you need to stop doing. This is what you need to keep doing.
Okay.
So it was just a growing fight, because again, I'd never done it before. Mm-hmm. And then so for about a year and a half, I was the ring announcer at Black Diamond Wrestling. And then they had their 15-year anniversary, I think it was. Oh, and really? Their original ring announcer came back to work that show.
Okay.
I didn't have anything to do. So I was like, okay, maybe I'll just run interviews in the back or something. And my wife's best friend, who unfortunately is no longer with us, he passed away a couple years ago. It'll be 2 years in July. He'd always mess with me, and he was with the Reapers a lot. It was Matt Connor, Remy LeVay, and Sean Phoenix, and him.
Nice.
It was Trevor Westside at the time. Trevor Oz also is his name, but he was Trevor Westside there. And so they were feuding. Matt Connor was feuding with Keith Hott. So they were like, hey, they've messed with you for 6 months now. So at the anniversary show, I was Keith's manager.
Okay.
And, we didn't, I finally, stood up to my bullies, punched Trevor in the face. Matt Connor almost took my head off. But it went over well, and so they just had me stay with Keith.
Okay.
And then it turned into a tag team of, Remy LeVay and Connor taking Keith out, threatening me with a chair, and then Tony Johnson came back, and so we formed a team of Icy Hot, of Iceman, Tony Johnson, and Keith Hot, and I was their manager.
Icy hot.
Team Icy Hot. The fans voted on that one. We voted the name. We were going to do something like that. So then we went there. We won the tag team titles. That's when I started my feud with Ronnie Starks.
Oh no.
He was with MT Osha at the time.
Okay.
Then Ronnie Starks. There's video of us arm wrestling each other before a match.
Oh, okay.
Just going back and forth. They used an MT Osha. I would come out with a hard hat on because they were the Iceman, the Bearcat. They called me the Silver Fox because I'd wear a gray suit and have fox ears on to be like Keith's Bearcat.
Okay.
That lasted like 3 shows, and I stopped that. I was like, oh, I'm done with this. Plus, I'm older than everybody, and that was the other thing.
Okay.
But Ronnie and I started our feud, but then Ronnie basically took me under his wing in the back and pretty much taught me a lot of what I know between him and Beastman.
Nice.
And Marcus Mann were basically the 3 guys that taught me how to be a manager.
Mm-hmm.
Showed me what to do. I mean, Ronnie's basically, he's my wrestling wife and I'm his wrestling wife.
Nice.
He's one of my favorite people. So I loved your interview with Ronnie. It was great to watch.
For sure.
Watch and learn, his story. I know, a lot of stuff he's been through the last couple of years. So I'm glad to see him back and about him ready to come back.
Mm-hmm.
I think the local wrestling world's better with him in it. So
yeah, and we got him at Real Shoot. We got him, by goodness.
Doing everything, reffing matches, talking and ring announcing. He'll probably be managing again soon.
And there's something going on you're going to see. He's part of the digital media team as well. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say. Big things coming for Ronnie Starks. I'm excited.
Good. So funny Ronnie Starks story. So when he started being the manager of the Good Guys, and the big reveal was the Good Guys had spent 6 months, like they broke my arm, they were beating me up, every time I turned around they were taking me out. So I got my big comeuppance with a kendo stick and I took him out. Lights go out, lights come back on. I took my first ever chair shot from Ronnie Starks.
Oh God, okay.
So I just learned earlier the day how to take a chair shot. So Ronnie just lays me out with it in the back, like in the back, hits me. And I know one more's coming, so he lays into me. So, and I kind of just relax on the mat like I'm done. And then all of a sudden, whap, a third one comes.
Oh, okay.
He hits me with that third one and goes, oh shit, I'm sorry. And I'm just like, son of a bitch. So I just wasn't ready for it, but he just laid one into me, and it was funny. We were in the back laughing about it afterwards, but
he was in the zone.
He was in the zone, ready to go. And that was the thing when I was in the War Games. It was Jay Flash, Keith Hott, Tony Johnson, and myself versus the Good Guys. And Ronnie and I just paired off, and we're like, okay, we're going to do this for the whole match.
Okay. So you guys had a War Games in Black Diamond as well?
Yes. Yeah, we did a War Games in Black Diamond. It was interesting. It was the cage was wooden.
Oh, well, okay.
It had to look like the big blue WWF cage.
Okay.
Yeah, I got up, did a crossbody. I think the one move I landed in the entire match was a crossbody off the top rope.
Okay. Well, that's the move to hit, by goodness.
I guess I learned that day cardio was not my friend.
I understand. I feel that. Hey, well, good. It sounds like you've been having a good time. One name he threw out there that I believe deserves their due and us to speak on him. Current and first ever VCW champion, Remy LeVay. What a blessing this dude is.
Dude, Remy is one of the most talented people that I've known since he was a tag team called the Night Riders back in the day. Then seeing him come up through the culmination and even on his own and starting the Origin and Victory Championship Wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
The talent's always there with Remy LeVay.
For sure.
And I don't think there's nobody who's probably more universally liked in wrestling than Remy LeVay. I've never heard a bad thing said about him.
Right.
No matter how big of an asshole he is on screen,
Mm-hmm.
never heard a bad thing said about him. Everybody loves Remy,
Yeah.
and he is one of the most talented guys in the ring that I've seen in a long time.
For sure. Multi-talented.
Yeah.
His music's pretty good too.
Yes. He's always like, hey, let's come when you come to see me play. When you come to see me play. When you come to see me play. I've heard his music. I like his music. I've just not had a chance to see him play live yet. Because again, I'm a father. I work all day. I work for the news, so I'm always like on the go. So I don't get a lot of free time. So I got to make some free time to go catch his band.
For sure, it'll definitely be worth it. Myself included. I need to maybe. Hey, let's get together and go watch
Yeah,
Remy
we'll have to make a trip.
Yeah, why not? So we'll throw it back to VCW because you guys got big things coming up. You got the franchise. Oh my goodness, I'm such a fan of him. I can't wait to see what he does that night. I know a lot of matches haven't been announced, but my goodness, I know it's gonna be good.
His match is going to be when we announce his match, it's going to be big. But I've been a big fan of the franchise Shane Douglas since, I liked him back as Dean Douglas in WWF. So
you were his only fan, huh?
I probably was, but yeah, he always stood out to me then. I think it was just because he was from Pittsburgh. But growing up and then watching him in ECW, like again, one of my favorite things, him throwing down the NWA title.
Yeah.
Saying that he's the ECW champion. That's one of the best promos I've ever seen. And apparently he still cuts promos on Ric Flair at all times. But watching that character go through ECW in the triple threat.
Yes.
The matches he had with Taz.
Yes. Bam Bam Bigelow.
Bam Bigelow. You can't beat a good Bam Bam Bigelow match, especially the ones he had in Japan.
Yeah. But yeah, I was a huge triple threat fan. I've always liked the bad guys. I rocked my franchise Shane Douglas shirt at least once a week, the yellow shirt with the diamond on the front, believe me. I'm a huge fan of him. But let's go to the origins of VCW. I can't wait to pick Beastman's brain. Next episode, tune in, Beastman. But tell me what was like the early days. Even let's go before, if you can, when you heard VCW was starting up.
Yeah. So probably about 13 months ago, 14 months ago, maybe actually even 15 months ago. It was probably October of last year, 2021.
Okay.
Beastman reached out to me and he was like, hey, he's like, I'm starting my own wrestling promotion. And I thought I was done with wrestling. I had a very small run, 3 years maybe working in it. Been a fan. But once we all left Black Diamond because of reasons. Don't want to talk about it, but like there was a mass exodus on the promoter. And when we left, I just figured I was done. I had done some work with Uprise, Rise's side show they did for the beginning. I was the ring announcer for that for a couple shows. Because Marcus Mann and Duke Davis and Matt Conard all knew me, and they're like, hey, this is a place for you to, work on your talents and get better. Okay. So I jumped at that. But after the pandemic, I thought I was done. So I was done watching. I wasn't watching a lot of wrestling. Like I was just watching GCW and ICW No Holds Barred. I was basically just watching deathmatch wrestling. And but
they were killing it then too, so I understand.
Yeah. But Wes, we came out of that. Wes reached out to me. He goes, hey, I'm going to do this. I want to do it right. He tells me I'm the first person he asked to join the team. I don't know if that's true or not. You can ask him tomorrow. Okay. But he told me that, I was the first person. He goes, I want you to be my authority figure because my last role at Black Diamond I was the Diamond director. I was basically the authority figure. And that's where, I got to meet Mount Kilpis and DD Vice for the first time when we were running like Wednesday shows that were Facebook Live shows.
Okay.
During the end of the pandemic, empty arena shows basically. So I was done. Beastman asked me to come back. You should probably cut that part out.
Oh, well, hey, people call him Wes on here all the time.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Wasn't sure.
Yeah,
Wasn't sure. Okay. So Wes asked me to come back. And so I was like, yeah, sure, I'll do it. And just thinking, I'll do this. So since I work in marketing now.
Okay.
So I do most of the social media work.
Mm-hmm.
I did all the original graphics for the announcing people coming in before we went with our graphic artists moving forward. So I was thinking, hey, that's one less thing I had to do. So I was happy.
Mm-hmm.
But with Sorg doing the video and Will doing the graphics, so they just send me that, and then I just handle the social media in the start of it, and I still do that. But watching it grow, and he's like, we're running ideas of who we want to wrestle with us.
Okay.
And Wes is like, I want people that in our area there'll be people will know. So like Andrew Palace, Remy LeVay, Zach Mad Dog Myers,
Okay.
Beastman, Nathan Aldridge. Those are ones people, they would remember from, the Wheeling wrestling scene.
Uh-huh.
But then he's like, I want to bring in a lot of people nobody around here hasn't heard. Like, I'd never seen Patrick Hayes wrestle before. I've heard
Big
of Patrick
fan.
Hayes.
Oh man, yes.
Wilbur Whitlock,
Mm-hmm.
Damian Chambers, Matthew Taylor, the Wise Guys.
Mm.
They're all guys that Wes had worked with before that he's like, these are guys I want to work with.
Awesome.
And then, with using his friendships, having Super Oprah come down, I think it helps us all.
Mm-hmm.
And I think in that first year, having Madman Fulton, someone who's
Yes.
been in NXT, someone that's been on Impact,
Mm-hmm.
that has that TV recognition, having someone that he'd been on half of our shows in the year,
Mm-hmm.
I think that helped us out a lot.
For sure.
And so, like, Wes had this idea. He's like, I'm going to bring all these people in, so we're going to grow. And just to watch his baby grow this last year has just been phenomenal.
For sure. Being a fan, watching it grow. Madman Fulton's a sweetheart. Sorry to ruin your gimmick, brother, but I said it and I'll stick with it. The most handsome man I've ever seen in person. Sorry, Marcus Twist. Talk about being
I'll still go with Marcus Twist on that one. The most handsome, the most adorable wrestler I know. But Fulton is just, he sees my kid. Like, my kid comes to every show.
Mm-hmm.
My 4-year-old's at every show, and he sees my kid, and my kid, he lights up when he sees him and the Rad Boys. My kid loves the Rad Boys too. So like, he sees them, and he's still kind of shy because again, he's 4, so he's shy around them. But at the last show, at the last December show, there's a photo of me, Fulton, and my son, and I'm cheesing because I'm just having a blast, just because this I was in my element at the time. But Fulton is he watches every match.
Yes.
In the back.
Yes.
And then he gives his ideas. When we had the bus come in from Florida,
Mm-hmm.
And Fulton was giving him ideas afterwards, like, this is what you need to do. This is, calling the horn and everything. And Andy was like, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So like, he's always critiquing. He's always there to help. And it's nice to have people like that. Like, Wes is always there to help. Wes watches every match.
Yeah.
Wilbur Hayes watches every match. So, I mean, they're always there to help. And it's great to have a group of people behind the scenes that just want to see everybody succeed. It's not just, I want to go out and have the best match of the night.
Mm-hmm.
I want everybody to go out and have the best match of the night. And that core group of just, it's great to have, and it's great to be around, and it makes me want to be better.
Right.
Because being around those people.
It really impressed me the first time I came there. The setup, everybody was so cordial. Like you said, Fulton watches. I was there at Gorilla. Fulton was standing right next to me watching that monitor. When they came through the curtain, he was right there to congratulate them, let them know they killed it. That Rad Boys Wise Guys match. Don't get me started on Tommy Irish, my new favorite wrestler. That's really, honestly, what got me into this scene, man. Tommy Irish, Jake Eagley, Monongah, West Virginia, entertaining as hell. Those guys, we got to give them props, because that was my key into this. Tommy Irish is going to be a superstar. Jake Eagley is going to be a superstar. But that tables match, it's been on Botchamania. I was right there at Gorilla.
Botchamania, it's been on TikTok over 4,000 times viewed.
Hell yeah.
So yeah, it was just the one table that wouldn't break. And why they didn't go for the table on the outside sooner, I have no clue, but we wouldn't be internet famous if it wasn't for that.
Hey, those guys put their bodies on the line. And
yes, they do. And every man.
It made a hell of a match. It really did. Like I said, you guys are creating magic up there. I wholeheartedly, I'm not just saying it because you're on the show. I've been a fan before I came to the shows and before I was backstage. Like I say, it's been crazy. From the tournament you guys had, the show before that one, it's been nuts. What's it like been living it? And just like you said, you watched it grow.
That's the thing. I was trying to keep up with it. And then, like, I've had people who aren't wrestling fans.
Mm-hmm.
A guy that works, one of my account executives that works for me, started bringing his son to the shows because he's like, hey, you like wrestling? My son saw these things. I'm like, yeah, you should come. I work there because I kept that side. Some people know at work, but a lot of them didn't.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he came to the Friday night show when the ceiling fell in. That was his first time he was there.
Mm-hmm.
And like, so Monday comes in and he's just looking at me. I'm like, go ahead. And so he's telling them all about the wrestling, all the sales team about the wrestling. And we were just laughing about it. But yeah, just seeing people like that be a part of it, watching the fans grow, watching the wrestlers grow is also my favorite one. Seeing, guys like Colton Quinn and Jake Ely, and then like the more they wrestle, the more just seeing like their matches are just getting better. And just being a part of that, and knowing that we're helping people find themselves is great.
Yeah, and let's give it up to the fans too. You guys have some of the best fans in the world. They know what's up. They come out. I've been there when they're standing in line. I hear the excitement. They're excited. They're happy.
We're getting people making signs now. That's my favorite things while going out there, seeing people holding up signs, seeing at intermission, just every wrestler has a line of people wanting to talk to them.
Mm-hmm.
That makes me happy. The ones that are there in line, then you got people like, Saturday Night Special are just walking around making fun of everybody. So
those jerks. Let's talk about that, man. What a feud. Mount Kilpus, Saturday Night Special. From almost day one, or maybe day one, this feud has went on. Like you said, the last show, they just fought everywhere.
There was no match. I mean, they just broke out. I think, what is it, Saturday Night Special? Like, they like to tout that they're the only undefeated team in Black Diamond, or not Black Diamond, Victory Championship Wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
So they're going to put that on the line, and we're going to see if not only are they continue to be the only undefeated tag team, but are they still going to be a team?
Yeah, don't do it to me again. Don't break my heart again.
If it has to happen, I mean, what is it, in Real Shoot? Twist just quit on you guys, didn't he?
Well, what happened is Undefeated cheated. The stipulation was they had to break up if they lost. Hit him with the purple gimmick, and he was so pissed he couldn't. There you go. If it happens up there, Twist might quit on y'all. And it's not going to happen again. I have faith in my boys. Bye bye, Mount Kilpus. Kilpus.
We'll see. There'll be a lot of sad people not getting hugs if that happens.
On the real, I am so happy to see these four guys in another main event on pay-per-view. Thank you. Thank you. That means the world to me. I know it means the world to them. But another main event, that's like, go back to that 6-man tag, one of my favorite matches ever. Let's talk about Zach Myers. How impressive has this guy been?
So, Mad Dog, the rise of the Mad Dog in Victory Championship Wrestling has been crazy, up to him surprising everybody and joining the Origin at the last show, helping Remy win the title.
As Santa Claus.
The worst looking Santa Claus I've ever seen.
Best looking Santa Claus I've ever seen.
Again, I've known Zach for a long time. Zach is somebody I've always wanted to try to impress because Zach, he's always helped me out when I needed it, and I've always tried to help him out. Little known fact, the very first Good Guy shirt was one that I designed for them.
Okay.
So I created the first Good Guy shirt.
Mm-hmm.
And the ECW Good Effing Guy shirt, I did a prototype of that they didn't use mine, but they based their final one off of something that I made.
Okay.
So we have gone back for a while, and I told Zach after being down in Mahongan for Krampus too, that I was so happy of seeing how much better he has grown as a wrestler since I first saw him wrestle 4 or 5 years ago to after that show, and even after the dog collar match with Beastman. He's grown. He's so talented, and he's a good wrestler, and he just goes and goes and goes. And to see him do that and to have him helping train our next crop of wrestlers is something that's important to me, because I know that they're going to get a good training out of him.
Exactly. That's what I was going to throw in. The guy has such a mind for the business. I mean, what do
He
I
does.
know? But he takes me aside and shares knowledge with me. I'm sorry to sorry to bust his scene, dude, but he's a sweetheart too. He's been nothing but super awesome to me. Anything I ask of him, he's either got an answer, or if it's a favor, whether it be a promo or whatever, on the spot, it will happen. But to go back to the TV side of things, the man now has a win over Beastman. He's undeniable.
He's the best big man in Victory Championship Wrestling.
He's a made man, baby.
Yeah,
I'm so
that's
happy for him.
His Haas challenges were the best. So, having him, take out Paulie Kilpis, fight Brohemoth, take out Sean Resnick, take out the Beastman.
Mm-hmm. Billy Knox. He got Billy Knox up there, too.
Yeah, Billy Knox. So he's just lining them up and taking them down. So I think next year will be a big one for Mad Dog.
Oh, man. The Origin, I don't know how anybody's going to stop him. It's just...
I mean, with him there now and that tag team of Noir and Malachi Gage.
Yeah. It's a bunch of creepy dudes.
They are a bunch of creepy dudes. I mean, everybody loves to be creeped out by a clown.
Malachi Gage has impressed me too. I like him. Like I say, the whole roster. You sit down, you watch a VCW pay-per-view, 2 to 3 hours it's over, and you're like, where'd the time go?
Yeah, that's what we try to do. We try to make everything entertaining. I'm really excited for where this Deplorables breakup of Wilbur and Patrick Hayes is going to go, because I think that's going to be big in 2023.
You got Matt Taylor now, got a new protege under his
Jimmy
wing
Shane.
after the last show.
Yep. No Shane, Jimmy Shane unfortunately lost, and now he had to join the Guiding Light. So see where that's going to go. I think that could lead to another team going into the tag team tournament we are going to have next year to crown our first tag team champions.
There you go. I mean, if you guys want to save yourselves the trouble, just give them the Saturday night special.
As much as I would love to do that, my little boy would cry that the Rad Boys didn't get a shot. And I live with him every day. And we talk on the internet every day, but I live with that little boy and he loves his Rad Boys. So I got to give everyone a shot, fair shot. So I think we're going to have teams from VCW. I think we're going to bring in teams from all over the tri-state area. I think we're going to see some new faces coming in for this tournament that we're setting up later this year.
Okay, let me throw this at you then. You can pick one team from RSW. Now, you've got our Saturday night special, you got our Mount Kilpis. But if you can pick one team that hasn't competed in VCW, hypothetically, who would you bring in?
Well, I would probably go with the Unappreciated.
Yeah. You can't deny him right now.
Yeah, I mean, the Murder would be high up on my list, but I think the Unappreciated right now, your tag team champions, would be ones that I would like to see up in VCW.
I'll tell you what.
Plus, I heard they had an interesting trip to Cleveland. So.
That's what I was just gonna say. After you see this footage,
I can't wait to see it. I've been waiting to see this match.
Well, Tim, can we give him the match? Tim, can we give him the match? Tell him.
Tim. I'll come down. Tim, I'll come down and ring announce again for you.
He's going to come down and ring announce. Tim, can we give him the match? You got to talk to Tim. I'm editing it. I shot it. Tim, can we give him the match? All right. So we're looking at a tag tournament. Any other championships that might be introduced?
There are talks of a few coming, but as of right now, I can't say anything about that.
I know how y'all are. Yeah. Nobody tells Spooky Lou anything anymore. Not even RSW. I get it. It's cool.
There's just a couple things we got to keep under. We got to keep some surprises for 2023.
I'm excited. Folks should be excited. Not just for VCW, not just for RSW. Every Fed in the area right now is nuclear hot.
Rise is blowing up. Like this thing, I'm a big Rise guy. I have a lot of friends that work there. Their champion, Edric Everhard, is one that I think that personally, this is a long time coming. He should have had that title a long time ago. He is one of the best in the area because again, I've watched him come up. Their Ty Cross, their commentator, is one of my favorite people in the world. play Magic the Gathering Arena against each other a lot, or we just build decks of Magic decks and shoot them back and forth to see who can come up with the craziest deck.
Mm-hmm.
But to see what he's been doing as a or as a commentator has been great.
Mm-hmm.
Watching him grow as that. Cal Poke Rise, the great Alexander. I'm really excited for their the 11th. For I think I might ride up to go see Pillman Jr. or Pillman versus Edric for the Rise title. I think that's going to be a good match.
For sure. I'm looking forward to that. IWC, their last pay per view was amazing. The brotherly love winning the tag titles. We talk about MV Young and what he's doing in New Kensington. I think that is super special.
That's another. I got to get out there. Ronnie Starks has been bugging me because apparently it's just right down the road for him. He's like, you should come up here. And I'm like, I try every time. Usually they have a match. I have my daughter. My daughter doesn't like wrestling. She's seen me get beat up a couple times and she does not like it. So if she come, my 4-year-old has never seen me get beat up. So if it ever happens, I don't know how he's going to take it. Hopefully he cries. And if he does, I hope they get it on camera.
Okay. Well, stop getting beat up. That might solve the problems. What are you doing? Why are you pissing folks off?
I'm an old man. I can't. I'm too old to defend myself. I got to find some goons to help me out.
Okay. Yeah, I understand. I got to find me some goons. I get it. I'm old myself. But yeah, I don't know what kind of life you're living where you keep taking these ass kickings in front of your kids, but settle down a little bit.
I get mouthy sometimes, and it's just one of my faults.
Hey, you see it on VCW. I will give you that. All due respect on that. You don't take no shit. They awesome authority figure.
There's a couple times where I've caught myself. I've snapped at a couple fans walking back, and I'm just like, that's not what I'm here to do. But I know the last show, I think I yelled at someone, said I'm doing my best, and just stormed off. And I'm trying not to do that. As you saw in the promo with Saturday Night Special, I was having a little bit of a crisis. Started my yoga back up, started my meditation. I'll get back on the right end, and I'll keep that down hopefully this year. That's my goal in 2023, not to snap at any fans again.
Well, to be fair, you guys got a bunch of maniacs up there.
We do.
Yeah,
I mean, trying to keep the Beast Man tamed when he's in the zone is the hardest thing.
Oh my goodness.
That's my hardest job, is making sure, like trying to get him and Mad Dog locked in. That was rough.
When he got that broom when the ceiling came down and swinging it around and almost hit Mount Kilpus. I mean, what the hell? What a big, intimidating dude anyway. And then you got to put the skull and the fur on. Come on, Beast Man. Damn.
It's a sight to see. Let me tell you a funny Beast Man story.
Please do.
So he was wrestling up at the Rex one night, and I had gone up to see like Danhausen was going to be there, Sam Adonis,
nice.
Main Event. I saw a bunch of my people were there, so I wanted to go. And across the street from the Rex is a bar called The Bar. It's a restaurant and grill.
Okay.
And that night they were running $5 mixed drink pitchers.
Mm-hmm.
So I had a drink or three.
Mm-hmm.
And I was probably not in my best mindset. Wes comes up to me. He's like, hey, intermission. I'm going to be running around talking to people. Can you work my merch? And I'm like, yeah, sure. I'll work your merch stand. And he didn't tell me prices for anything.
Oh.
So there's me, 2.5 sheets to the wind, just charging people what I think is a fair price. And I'm just talking people into buying everything. Lady Frost and Victor Benjamin are beside me, just watching me, just talking to people, just getting them to buy Beastman foam bones and shirts and photos. And I had sold everything that he had on his table.
Okay.
And he comes back and he's like, where's all my stuff? And I just handed him a wad of money.
Uh-huh.
It was just wadded up. I was like, I sold this many. And he goes, that was my merch for the weekend. And I was like, oh, it's all gone. And he looked at it. He pulled out like $40 and goes, here you go. And I just walked away.
Well,
back to the bar.
Hey, the moral that I take from this, a lot of wrestlers wouldn't have gave you that $40.
Oh yeah, 100%. Wes always takes care of me. But yeah, that night he was just like, "Where's all my stuff?" And I was just like, "I sold it."
and it was
It was
supposed to go.
gone.
Props to you. Props.
I'm a salesman by nature, so I mean that's what I do every day. So
And just making
I
up
don't ever
prices.
turn it off.
That's awesome. I hope we get you back to RSW soon. If you
I
come
hope
back to
so.
RSW and let's say Ronnie's doing the ring announcing and Tim says, "Hey man, what do you want to do? You're here. What do you want to do?" What would you do?
I mean, I think that I'll help out, do anything. You need a commentator, I can do commentary. I can do if Ronnie's doing ring announcing, I can try to be a ref. I don't know how good I would be at that. Probably not at all. They need a manager. I could be a manager. You got a new authority figure down there. You don't need that. So
Maybe we do. I'm the first to say, Sean Pugh, man, since he's been in charge, it's been chaos.
yeah, but
So
he took care of me, so I'm fine with him. So Sean was good with me. So I think Sean Pugh will be fine with it down there as your president. So I mean, Tim needs me to do whatever he needs me to do. He knows how to get a hold of me.
I hope we get you back down here one way.
I mean, I'll be back down probably, even if it's just as a fan. I'll be there in the back in the crowd.
Good, cool. And I'm looking forward to coming up. Hopefully, fingers crossed, I make it up to the next VCW show because great things there. Is there any other promotions you got your eye on that you'd like to go see a show or be a part of?
I did. My buddy and we did make a promise this year that we will be going. We're going to go to we'll be heading out to Jersey to go to a GCW and a JCW show.
Nice.
Double shot one weekend. We're going to do that just because Beastman's been wrestling there.
Mm-hmm.
Got to support the boss. But that's where I like to see. Like I like to see. I'm a big Jordan Oliver fan.
Yes. Okay.
So huge Jordan Oliver, Young, Dumb, and Broke. So I'm big that. I went out to Unsanctioned Pro, and I think in October, and went out there and I saw Charlie Tiger wrestle, and I was pumped about that.
Hell yeah.
So I think, but GCW, that's kind of like what I watch. I don't do cable, so I don't watch Raw. I don't watch AEW. So I'll watch anything local, independent that's on any sort of streaming service that I can find, either if independent or indiewrestling.us or anything that's on the Fight Plus app. I watch, basically that's what I watch. So
hell yeah, I mean, you're gonna have to get together and what, because that's same here. That's the same here. And let's not I'm not pimping YouTube. They're not gonna give me $1, but there's a lot of good stuff on YouTube.
Oh yeah, there is.
You got a lot of good feds with top-notch production. I watched War recently, and their cameras, it looks like a movie watching it.
Yeah.
It really does. Like, there's some magic, like, really good independent wrestling. The production's there. Of course, the work's there. Best workers. I've said it. I say it every podcast. This is the era. This is the greatest era. I promise you. Wrestling's accessible. There's never been better talent. There's never been better minds. There's never been better people. We're at a point where people want to help each other. It's a great time for independent wrestling, especially our scene. I'm so happy. What would you like to see in a perfect world when it's all said and done, end of the year VCW? What's the perfect VCW look like?
Oh man, perfect VCW. It's hard to. I couldn't think we could have ended our year this year, 2022, on a better notch of way things were. I think next year I would like to see a lot more Damian Chambers and some more high-profile matches. I'd like to see the growth of our tag division because, again, my heart's always been in tag team wrestling.
Okay.
I would like to see us. I think next year I would like to see us incorporate some women's wrestling into VCW. We started with Danny, and then I think that we can see that grow from here on out because there is a lot of good wrestling talent. Evelyn Sage.
Yes.
Is that correct? Okay. She very much impressed me down at Real Shoot. I'm always been a fan of the unwilted Tatiana.
Yes.
She's always, I've watched her. I've known her for a while. I've seen her go. Ziggy Haim is always top of the local women wrestling for me.
Mhm.
Because that girl can do a death match, and she has no fear.
Yeah.
So I would like to see some women wrestling in Victory Championship Wrestling. So I'm hopefully you set that up going forward. And again, just the growth of the tag team, and new talent. If we can get some new talent, and I'd like to give some guys out there a shot that maybe haven't had one, or some young guys. You help us help you.
Good. Good. I'm going to throw Nurse Micah at you as well. She's on the come up. You might want to get her before she gets signed to television. And also, what I'm glad you mentioned the women, because I see a lot of fans on Facebook, on Twitter. They're wanting women's action in
Yeah.
VCW. So
Yeah.
definitely looking forward to that.
I think that's going to be a big growth for us next year.
Good. Good. I'm bringing up the VCW page now because I noticed you guys put out a tweet about asking folks, their opinion for Wrestler of the Year, Tag Team
Wrestler of the Year, Tag Team of the Year, all that. Yeah, we want to. Yeah, I mean, we're coming up on our 1 year anniversary in February, so we want the fans to tell us, who was your Wrestler of the Year. Was it? I saw Remy LeVay get a lot of votes. Damian Chambers.
Mm-hmm.
Is it Beastman? Is it Patrick Hayes? Who's your Wrestler of the Year? Tag Team of the Year. We've had a few come through, but the ones that have been there from the whole time, Saturday Night Special,
Mm-hmm.
Rad Boys, Wise Guys, Mount Kilpis. I mean, those have been our 4 teams that have been there. Now we have Noir and Malachi Gage.
Mm-hmm.
Warhorse was there, made one show with us, and unfortunately they lost to the team of Colton Quinn and Bill the Thrill.
Okay.
Because they were playing a Thrill. They're one that should technically, Saturday Night Special isn't the only undefeated team in Victory Championship Wrestling.
Okay.
Because Colton Quinn and his tag team partner have one victory. They've only wrestled once for us, but they have one victory.
Hell yeah, Colton Quinn. Okay. I tell you what, I'm looking through it here. I'm not going to ask you to name wrestler, tag team, but let's ask you a couple of these. What's your WTF moment of the year?
The table not breaking.
So good. Okay, if that's WTF, what's your most memorable moment then?
My most memorable moment was, for me personally, was our first show, getting to start off our very first show with a 10-bell salute to my friend Trevor.
Okay.
That was my most moment. I had his glasses. His mother she came to the first show, and she sat with my wife. And she gave me some of his wrestling glasses that he used to wear when he wrestled. I have here at home in a shadow box, but I had one set up. I brought a pair with me, and we did it, sat him in the ring and did a 10-bell salute. That was probably my moment of the year just for me, because it was a one for me. Because again, Nicholas West was a play off of his Trevor West side. This is my way to, that he's always here with me. Oh. And then, so with Remy winning the title, the last person he ever managed was Remy.
Okay.
So after the show, when it was just, everyone's gone, it's just me and Remy, and we had our little, this was for Trevor, that was our little thing. That was great for us. That meant a lot. So seeing Remy win the title, and I don't like the way he did it, but for me, that just brought me closer for remembering my friend. So
that's awesome. I appreciate you sharing that. Thank you. And speaking of that, when Remy won the title, I was right there at Gorilla when he came through, and everybody wanted their personal moment with Remy.
Yeah.
He was a busy man.
He was.
Because he's loved. He's universally loved. He goes
is.
through the curtain, you hate him. Comes back through the curtain, and everybody standing ovation, and everybody wanted their moment with Remy.
Yeah.
Good.
It was good.
I'll ask you one more match of the year. Don't say War Games. I know you love the War Games.
Okay. Outside of War Games, match of the year for me would probably be a tie between Damian Chambers and Jason Gorey.
Okay.
And the Kincaid Gorey Benny Conley match.
Yes, that's one of my favorites. That
match is so good.
Fun.
Oh, that was so fun to watch. And Kincaid's a miracle worker in the ring.
Yeah.
we always have to up the liability insurance when he comes in because I don't know what he's going to jump off of. I'm afraid he's going to make it up to that crow's nest. I don't want to see that happen. But that was another name I'd heard, and I've seen video of Jason Kincaid, but I'd never seen him wrestle in person before.
Okay.
So the 3 or 4 times he's wrestled with us has all been, just mind blowing. And Gory's been someone I've known for a long time. And Benny Conley was, again, another new person for me this year. And seeing them all go, and again, I'll even throw in Conley versus Super Oprah was a great match.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was.
And I'm same as you. Benny Conley, new to me. I'm a super duper Benny Conley fan. Please, if I can throw it out there and put my little bit of weight out there, please keep bringing Benny Conley back. Entertaining for days.
Oh yeah, 100%. I'd never seen a guy come out with his hair wrapped in a towel like that before.
Yeah, he's his own man. He's unique. He's fun to watch. He can go in the ring. Same with Jason Kincaid. Jason Kincaid. I've watched that guy since he was the Gift, and you got Beastman yourself. You guys have an eye for talent. Perfect roster.
Yeah. There's a lot. There's a lot of talent in our area, and it's great to see them just give us a chance. Yeah,
and I want to thank you guys for giving this talent such a platform. This is Fight TV. The 5 Stream Friday trended on Fight TV because it was free. Folks checked it out. I couldn't have been happier because these guys deserve the opportunity. They deserve eyes on them. VCW's providing that platform. Thank you to you, and I will thank Wes tomorrow.
Yeah, being on Fight TV was really cool. I was behind the scenes. I was sitting off of Gorilla next to Sorg, streaming it on my computer, clipping it for the Twitter. So I'm not watching it live. I'm on like a 10 second to a minute delay on Fight TV, watching what's happening, and then stopping it, going back and pulling GIFs for Twitter. And so I'm like running around doing everything on that until my computer gave out on me. But watching doing that, and then I looked down halfway through the show. My wife had sent me a photo of me walking through the curtain when I made my day came out, and I looked at that, and then I went back and I watched it, and I was like, that is just so freaking cool.
Yeah.
Just to see that, that I got the chance to be on Fight TV across. I have a friend that's a huge wrestling fan that lives in England that watched it. Yeah. And he was like, oh, you did great. The next day he texted me, he's like, I saw you come out. Tim makes fun of me. Since my wife didn't get to come to that show, and she was like, let me know you're thinking about me. And I did a stupid little dance as I walked through the ring. And Tim was like, I like that dance. I'm like, that's for my wife. You leave me alone.
Awesome.
But seeing that, just it's my Twitter picture is me walking through and pointing out of the ring just because I was like, that's so cool for me. Like to be a part of that. That's the closest to that I'll ever be famous. Something like that. And it just blows my mind.
Oh, hey, I can relate. It wasn't on such a level, but I had friends in New York watching. I had friends here watching, and whenever I left, I checked my phone and I saw you because I was helping Ronnie with the chords.
You're helping Ronnie with the
character, and I never will be. But I had my 5 seconds of fame, if you will, and I got because the show was super popular. Everybody watched it. Everybody. I want to say this: the Fight TV. There are folks subscribing to Fight Plus that I personally know to watch VCW.
That's great to hear. That's humbling to me because I just never thought that would ever happen.
It's happening. It's happening, and I've said it for I don't know how many podcasts. I'll say it one more time. It's a perfect storm right now.
Yeah.
Shit is happening. Shit is on fire. VCW's a part of that. RSW's a part of that. Rise, MV Young and his school. I don't want to leave people out. War. Ohio's crazy. It's crazy.
It's just all growing, and it's all good, and it doesn't matter what you like as long as you're having a good time and enjoying it. It's great, and if you're not enjoying it, don't watch it anymore. That's what I did. I took some time off. I didn't like wrestling, so then I just got to the point where like I don't watch what I don't want to watch.
Right.
I fell into this, like, I used to hate deathmatch wrestling, and then during the pandemic, I loved deathmatch wrestling. Hell, my bachelor party was the Tournament of Death 16 to meet Jimmy Havoc.
Oh
So-
yeah.
So I mean, I've been to Tournament of Death. I've done, like, that was my thing. Like, I got into all this for a while, and I fell out of regular wrestling. But VCW has made me just love wrestling and all again. So now back into watching everything that I can watch. Adam Montgomery, our ring announcer, has been giving me old IWA East Coast matches on IWTV to watch. He's
Okay.
like, hey, you should watch this. You should watch this. Like things where he was on there. A young bulldozer who was Beastman before Beastman was a
Yep,
thing.
I saw
Watching
Bulldozer live.
matches, I've seen watching those, and it's great. There's lots of good wrestling in the past. There's a lot of good wrestling out there now. So find what you like, stick with it, and have a good time. Enjoy it.
Yes, have fun,
Yes,
and
have
the
fun.
opportunity's there right now to have a lot of
Yeah,
fun.
It
I
is.
mean, you talk about crazy stuff. RSW just went up to AIWF Great Lakes and said, "No, this is RSW now."
Yeah.
So,
Crazy.
but behind the scenes, it's very cool.
Yeah.
Tim and we'll say AIWF promoter A and B, the bridges are being built again. I couldn't be happier, man.
Yeah.
RSW and VCW have a great relationship.
I was extremely surprised when I saw that, and I was happy to see that happen.
Yeah. And to be there live, and the fans are all for it. We've got a women's tournament coming up there.
Good.
So it's awesome. It's awesome. It's
Yeah.
like I say, I can't encourage folks enough. Check it out on YouTube, IWTV, Fight Plus. Man, there's so many options. So many options. This rarely happens. Not only was I late, but I've kept you for an hour 5 now. So I'm like,
I understand. I gotta get going. My wife is texting me like, "Hey, what's going on? When are you gonna be done?" He's like, "Your son wants to play with you, so I have to go be a dad now."
I have to be a father myself. I came right in the door, did the interview. Any final thoughts before I let you go? Anything you can tell my listeners? Anything encouraging, positive, whatever's on your mind?
The 1-year anniversary of Victory Championship Wrestling is coming up February 19th. We have some big things planned. Shane Douglas is going to be there. Last tag team standing, Saturday night special, Mount Kilpis. And we're going to see, it's going to start off where I think this show is going to start off where we head in 2023. So you do not want to miss it. Either be there at the show. If you can't be there at the show, catch us on Fight TV.
I thank you so much for coming on. Always been super cool to me. I'd like to call you a friend, a brother.
You are.
So
100%, Speaky Lou. Thank you for having me on here.
I wish you the best with everything. I can't wait to see you in person soon. To my
Yes, sir.
listeners, always be kind, help each other, enjoy wrestling, but don't take no shit. Be you, enjoy life, live it to the fullest, live your dreams. I love you. We're going to let this man play with his kids, for God's sake, Spooky Lou. I love you. Thank you, Commissioner West.
No problem. See you soon.
I will see you soon. You enjoy your evening.
You too,
sir.
brother.